A big thank you goes to Saban Films for providing me with an early screener to a movie called Blowback, which is going to be hitting theatres, digital and on demand on June 17th, but I managed to check this out a little bit early. However, is it any good? Well, let's find out together. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you're brand new, all I ask is to press the red subscribe button so I can see you again in another future video. But today we're talking about an early screener called Blowback, which the director Tibor Takash, I'm sorry if I've pronounced or butchered any of that name. But yeah, I was unfamiliar with this director. He's done a lot of like TV movies and he's also done like a Sabrina Teenage Witch TV movie back in the day as well. So I was quite intrigued by his filmography when I looked that up. Now the movie of course stars Randy Couture, who is most notably known for his fighting career. Now he's kind of turned actor nowadays. And we've also got Gigandet, if I've pronounced that correctly, who's mostly known for doing like a villain role in Twilight, but also some other kind of like TV movies as well. So I was intrigued. So what is the plot of Blowback all around? Well, it's essentially around a character called Nick, who is a master thief, and during a bank heist with his team, he is sabotaged by them and left for dead. However, he decides to take it upon himself and get back at his former team one by one. So if the plot sounds familiar, yeah, it is certainly been done in quite a few movies, but at the end of the day, it's not necessarily a bad thing because a revenge tale is always just like a simple, fun movie, and you can really kind of get behind the hero in those said movies. So with this all in mind, let me get straight to my positives and let me tell you what I liked about this movie. Firstly, the acting was fine. I would say that I don't think any of these characters were like made for these roles, but the acting was okay. I enjoyed the performances. I thought that the revenge side of things was cool once we started getting more of like the blood, more of like the brutal kind of deaths and kind of like some torture scenes that you're seeing is pretty cool. And I think that kind of helped to add to this vengeful tale. Of course, when that happens in a movie, it helps to elevate our character and their motivations going forward to they ultimately tend to get to like the head honcho of like the villain organization, who is a character called Jack, played by Randy Couture in this movie. And again, I felt like those two, when they were on screen together, I liked seeing their chemistry because I felt like they did have good chemistry. We don't get enough of it, but from the scenes that we do get, I didn't mind it. And the movie is 93 minutes long. And there was not one time I felt that I was bored by this movie. I was intrigued. I was on the side of Nick and being like, oh, I hope he gets his revenge. And yeah, I don't want to say too much else to spoil the movie because during this bank heist where he is sabotaged in the beginning, which is shown in the trailers and the plot of this movie, there's another kind of like little hidden agenda to the plot of this movie, which I don't want to tell you about again for spoilers, but it involves Nick. That's all I'm going to say. And yeah, I think the movie was shot pretty well. I liked the cinematography. I could tell like it was a little bit of a lower budget movie, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because I think with the budget that they did have, again, I thought it was presented pretty well. And yeah, I just thought it was like a fun action thriller revenge tale movie and nothing maybe too groundbreaking. So in terms of my negatives and what I didn't ultimately think that this movie did to really stand out to the rest of every movie that's in this genre is, as I mentioned, the acting was fine. It wasn't anything over the top. The motivations of why Nick was doing what he was doing when he was getting revenge, of course it's simple for sure, but I didn't fully 100% buy into his character and the kind of backstory motivation that we get for that. It's there, it's present, but I didn't 100% feel it. And our main villain, Jack, of course, played by Randy Couture, he isn't hardly in this movie that much. I would say overall, maybe about 30 minutes tops, you see Randy Couture's character. And he is meant to be like this head honcho villain. And you're meant to really kind of like fear him. But there wasn't one time in this movie I felt like I feared him. He kind of came across more of like a coward kind of figure. And I don't know if that was intentional. Maybe it was. But I just didn't really care about him. And then there's also, while this is going on, we also focus on specifically 2 or 3 police officers And I didn't care about any of them. The issue is like none of them have got a personality. They're all kind of just wooden, typical cop characters who you didn't care about whatsoever. And I just felt like they got a bit too much screen time and not enough focus on maybe some more backstory on Nick's character or Jack's character of Randy Couture, or even the character of Veronica, who is played by Michelle Pelayo, if I've got that correctly. Again, I'm sorry if I've pronounced any names wrong. Yeah, even her character in this movie relegated to maybe about 10-15 minutes maximum of screen time, and I just really couldn't get into the characters overall, because again, as I say, I wasn't bored by the movie, I was entertained by it, and I was intrigued as to what was going to happen next, so the pacing was done well, but the characters I couldn't get behind, and that's the issue with a revenge tale. You were meant to be really behind our hero, and you're meant to really get behind them, but I couldn't, and by the end of it, I was like, oh, all right then, no problem, you know. So I think that is the main issues of this movie, and there is one or two music choices in here I didn't think suited the movie, and that was, maybe it was the person's first time score. I didn't look it up, sorry about that. But yeah, the music in here sometimes didn't quite fit the movie. So overall, Blowback, it flies over. I don't think you're going to be bored by it. So if you do check it out, please let me know in the comments, or if you are intrigued to, also please let me know. But my overall score for Blowback is a 6 out of 10. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this review. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and hopefully I've been able to provide you with as much spoiler-free review as I can. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and again, press the subscribe button if you already haven't. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.